What is up, Giants fans, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Big Blue at JQ. I'm your host, Jack Quateraro. Alongside with me, my beautiful and always lovely co-host, Thomas Sinertia. And today we have a very special guest to do a preview of the Week 5 matchup against the Washington football team. So Danny King joins us from Talkin Giants. He's a big contributor to their team in the podcast. So Danny writes a bunch of articles for them and does a whole lot more. You name it, he does it all for them. Make sure to follow him at Danny King, __ on Twitter. Danny, my man, what's up, bro?
I'm doing good. I mean, I wish our team was doing better, but I'm doing good.
Dude, the team, Tom and I say this all week, man. The team is just not doing well. But hey, man, what are we going to do about it at this point? It's Week 5, dude, and we got a game against the brand new Washington football team, no longer the Redskins. So I just wanted to take a quick look before we talk about this week's matchup. I want to talk about last year's two games, and we'll start off with the Week 4 matchup when the Giants won 24-3. Daniel Jones 2-0 after that game as a starter, took the Giants to 2-2. 2019 looked a lot better than 2020. What did you guys see about that game?
Well, that was obviously the week after the miraculous Tampa Bay comeback. And then I mean, we were only I think a game or two back then too, and then we were home against Washington. And obviously we always had their number. We've never really been that bad against them. And yeah, we played phenomenal. We won the game, and we were 2-2 with nothing but blue skies in the future. And then I think we lost the next 15 games or whatever.
I mean, it was the best of times. We went out there. I just said the win against Tampa. Then we went home. Daniel Jones home debut won. The guy Dwayne Haskins, the whole battle. He did god awful. The spirits were so high. It felt like a great time. And then, as Tom said, it went downhill really fast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Giants lost the next 7 or 9 games or something like that. But Daniel Jones was 23 of 31 for 225 passing yards with 1 TD. Threw 2 interceptions, no big deal. Haskins had 3 picks, and he only threw for 100 yards. He got ripped out of the game at one point in case Keenum came in. He also had an interception. So Giants defense last year against Washington did their work and did their job at 4 interceptions in the game. And, of course, the most memorable one is the Jabril Peppers pick 6 return. So, honestly, I think anything can happen this week. Looking at the Week 16 matchup, Tom knows this is my favorite game of the year last year, Danny King. Well, it's a joke, but Giants won 41-35 in overtime. Caden Smith had 2 big touchdowns in that game, also the overtime winner. Big day for Daniel Jones. He threw for over 350 yards with 5 passing touchdowns. And then, of course, Saquon had a big game with 190 rushing yards, dude. And, of course, receiving too. He had over 90 yards receiving. So, guys, it's just can they do this again against the Washington football team?
I don't think they probably can. They don't. They're not the same offense they were last year. And I mean, we don't have Saquon, so obviously that's already painful. Jones can't just turn it over every single game now. That's his thing. I think this could probably be one of those games where it's this is terrible. It's 2 terrible teams going at each other. But hey, the Giants and Redskins, or Washington, don't cancel me. But both teams can still win the division. But this game shouldn't even be on a Sunday. It should be on like a Friday or Saturday. It shouldn't even be on the level of the NFL.
See, Tom, you see that? Danny's optimistic about this game, bro. He understands, we're only 2 games out of division leaders right now, so why not? Let's go get a win this weekend.
I don't think you guys understand. I don't think anybody understands what Sunday was supposed to be. Sunday was supposed to be us watching at home Dwayne Haskins get chased around, or whoever is quarterback for them. We were supposed to watch Chase Young chase that entire offense around like a bully chasing kids playing tag at recess. But no. JQ got the greatest game he ever watched, his favorite game of all time. I woke up and said, we have one responsibility today: lose this game. And Chase Young was literally in our laps. He said, I'm going to come to New York. We're like, all right, bet. But you guys have to lose to Washington. All right, no problem. No, we play like the greatest team of all time, and we win the game. Now we have Andrew Thomas, who is not doing good. And now, is Chase Young playing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Playing.
Great. So now we're going to watch him probably sack Daniel at least 2-3 times. I'm going to round up and say 4. And yeah. And I'm gonna come over Sunday for the game, and I'm just gonna look at you the entire time we're on offense.
Listen,
If Andrew Thomas struggles and Chase Young just balls out, that's just going to be a time to be on Giants
It's
social
all
media.
JQ's fault.
listen, Danny. He blames me for this because I was very excited watching that game. Obviously, everyone knows in the Giants world, I'm a huge Saquon Barkley fan. So seeing him play like that, explosive, was just like it just fueled me inside. I was so happy about that game. Like Daniel Jones threw 5 touchdowns. Like I was on the top of the world, and obviously I knew it was at stake, guys. Like I knew Chase Young was on the line, but then the game goes into overtime. Giants get the ball first, and they start driving. I was like, uh-oh, like this.
Even that, I forgot about that. So listen, we play a fun, crazy game. We go into overtime. All right, perfect. Let's lose in like a last-second thriller. Boom, we get Chase Young. They win the game.
I feel like it was just that game was amazing because Daniel Jones career day. Golden Tate actually played like an actual football player that day, and Saquon just had Saquon. So everything the Giants wanted to go right went right, but in the end, it cost them Chase Young. I mean, I'm not completely mad about having Andrew Thomas, but I mean, would I rather Chase Young? Of course, who wouldn't? No, every normal man wants Chase Young.
That Giants team we saw that week 16 against the Redskins was the team I envisioned all year. That I obviously, being biased as always, that's the team I wanted to see. Daniel Jones throwing multiple touchdown games, Saquon running for almost 200 rushing yards. What could have went wrong, guys? But oh man, this week's matchup is an interesting one. I got some storylines we could talk about heading into this weekend's game. Daniel Jones needs to have again one of his best games of his career because obviously he's not on the hot seat, Danny and Tom, but we know how this season has been going so far. He's like averaging 200 passing yards per game, and now he's fumbling probably every game so far, or has a turnover every game. So this is a big game for him, guys.
If we don't win Sunday, we're not winning a game. I said this to my uncle today. If we do not win on Sunday, we are going 0-16. That has to be etched into a boulder somewhere. You see those stones behind you? You got to just etch that on the wall.
Right here? Okay, I will.
We stink, obviously, clearly. Everybody that listens to this knows that by now. But Washington's bad. They're a bad football team. We need to beat them. And if we don't, you might never hear from me again. I'm done.
Yeah, this is the game the Giants need to win. It would be honestly unacceptable if they don't win because Kyle Allen, he's not anything crazy. The Washington, they have Terry McLaurin and then the running back. No one else. Their defense, awful. This is the game they should go out there and So this is where they lay an egg probably and just do nothing.
This is going to be one of those games, guys, where, like, Danny, you were saying it in the beginning of the episode, it's just going to be like a low-scoring game, like very sloppy football going on the whole time. It's just, once again, as a Giants fan, it's not going to be a fun Sunday. Daniel Jones hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since week 1, and he's had 2 TDs in week 1 and 8 turnovers since. So it's not a good ratio right now. According to Pro Football Focus, he is at a 74.5 overall grade somehow. But besides that, the Giants' run game can't go ghost this game, guys. Like last week against Dallas, they had a phenomenal rush game. Devontae Freeman had over 60 rushing yards. So, guys, they need to do this again against a Washington defense who has been struggling to contain the run all year. In the last 4 games, they've been given up over 147 rushing yards a game. They've been averaging that as a defense. So, Giants need to capitalize on that run game, guys, this weekend. I think that's going to be a big part if Jones struggles once again.
I just don't know what to say anymore. Every time I try and come up with something, it's just like, well, that's just not going to happen.
Tom's always so negative, Danny.
I mean,
week in and week out.
Yeah, I can't blame him though. All we've watched is losing, just complete.
We're so bad.
He's watched the Giants that are terrible. His heart's been broken by the Yankees because that's a Yankees flag, I'm pretty sure. So it's just been a rough couple of years. They haven't done anything. So, I mean, you can't blame him. I'm negative at times watching this team, but I still go in there, like hoping, and then all of a sudden they rip everything out of me. Like they did that in LA. They did that in Dallas last week. That's all they do is just they give me a hope, and then they just rip it out from under me.
Danny. I was having a long day, but I was having an okay day. And then you brought up the New York Yankees, and now I'm set back a good 2 hours. I might not finish everything I have to do today.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for Tom.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for Tom, and it's just been a rough couple of weeks for New York fans in general, guys. Like, dude, like like you said, Danny, you can ask Tom too. I am so like ready to go for every game on Sunday. Like I'm fired up. I make my predictions, and of course, I'm never right. Like, I mean, it makes good content for TikTok, but in that sense, like, what? Come on, like, I want to see winnable. Like, I want to win a game this weekend.
Like
Justin,
why do I watch sports anymore?
you
Why
love-
do I do it to myself?
We just enjoy pain, and that's what New York sports brings. Pain.
Guess so.
We enjoy a lot of pain as New York fans, man. Like, I need to see a win this weekend. Justin Pennick says it best. The Giants find ways to lose winnable games. Like you said, Danny, the game against Dallas, the game against the Rams came all the way down to the last play, like the last drive. Even against the Steelers, I think the Giants had a chance. You can look at, I always say this, I'm always so optimistic. I'd say the Giants could be 2-3 right now or 3-2 if you look at it, from my standard. But back to the run game, I want to see more like end arounds with Evan Ingram. I know they used it on the goal line, but like, why not use that throughout a couple drives? Like get Washington mixed up and then, set up a couple play action passes, but run the ball. I want to see the run game just explode.
Okay.
I mean, if we had Saquon, I would guarantee we have a good game. But it's Devontae Freeman. I mean, he had a good game last week, but it was only 86 yards, and then the run game randomly disappeared at a time. But, I mean, I really wish we had Sterling Shepard. I feel like he could just feast on these Washington guys. I think Darius Slayton will, Golden Tate. I mean, I believe in him every week, and then he just does nothing. So that's nothing new. Who we got? Austin Mack replacing Damian Radley. He did nothing. I think I agree with the point. Evan Ingram. He's the guy that I think needs, because Evan Ingram's obviously a trade candidate. I don't want him to be traded. That's my fault. I love Evan Ingram. I'll be with him until the day he's not on the Giants. But, I mean, Evan Ingram needs to go out there and prove something. I mean, because he's such a valuable option for this offense, but yet at times it feels like he's not utilized correctly. Jason Garrett isn't using some of his weapons to his fullest potential. Pat Shurmur, I think Bobby said, and I agree with him, he wasn't a head coach. He's a quality offensive mind guy, and he used his weapons to perfection.
I think so, too, because if you think about it now, guys, we don't see any downfield shots. Don't get me wrong. Receivers have to create more separation. The O-line's got to do a better job blocking, but there are just no chances downfield. And when we do connect on them, it's usually like, when they throw the ball deep, we usually connect on those plays, the Giants, and like Slayton too. So, like, I don't know, guys. Jason Garrett, I've talked to Tom about this, Danny. I'm just still very iffy on him. I know he's a smart guy. Like the playbook he ran against Dallas last week, I would love to see those type of plays again. And Tom's over there nodding his head. What are you saying over there, Tom?
No, we need more of that. That's the only reason why we scored 30-something points. It's the shifty stuff. We should have scored more. We got 14 points taken away.
Yeah, those penalties last week were killer. I mean, that Cam Fleming one was such like ticky-tacky. They noticed that, but they didn't notice an obvious holding on BJ Hill. That's just me. But yeah, Jason Garrett, he's a smart guy, but he's acted so dumb, especially after that Steelers game. He's just like the little short stuff. He's not using his brain right now. Danny
and Tom, doesn't it drive you guys nuts when you go out there and it's just like 5 yard out, 5 yard in, slant route, little dump route, like a little screen, like get more explosive, like open up the playbook. And I know like Garrett's a conservative guy, but like why not take some chances? We're 0-5 right now. We got nothing to lose anymore.
We don't have the talent to do that.
It felt like before the Dallas game, it felt like honestly those last 49ers and Rams game, it felt like I was watching Ben McAdoo in 2017. No creativity, just the simplest stuff. And then last week he brought out the creative side of him. But before that, I'm like, am I watching Ben McAdoo all over again right now? 2017 Ben McAdoo.
Oh, Ben McAdoo, Danny. That's a name I just haven't heard in a while, and I've honestly erased from my memory in most parts because of just the 2016 and 2017 season, how they unfolded. But guys, like you said, Danny, they got to capitalize on these explosive plays. Like when Fleming was caught for the illegal shift or not illegally set, like that ripped my heart out. And you can ask Tom too. I almost fainted on my couch. I couldn't believe that it was such a nicely drawn fake. And the one time the Giants actually run a fake play, it gets called back.
And now that play is gone for what the guy said, or at least he claims is gone for the next half year and now every team's prepared for that. It's just so brutal. And this Washington defense is awful. This is a game where Darius Slayton should go out there and have a game he did against Dallas. Washington's corners are even worse than Dallas. So he should go out there have a game. Even Austin Mack. I said this last night when I was talking to Justin and Bobby. Corey Coleman, he made his name against Washington 2018. This could be a game like an Austin Mack goes out there and makes his name and has a day. These offensive weapons just have to do something because Washington's awful. They paid Landon Collins 6 years, $84 million. He has done nothing. He's putting Sean Taylor's name to shame by even saying, compare me to Sean Taylor.
Yeah. Landon Collins is a bum. He's a bum. Tom knows that too. I hate that guy. So when we play Washington, I love when the Giants go up against him because I'm like, oh, please, someone just run him over or someone just moss him on a touchdown catch. Like, I like seeing him lose. I know it's kind of brutal and cruel, but, dude, I don't want to see Washington win. I hate Washington. Like,
he said he wanted to run over little innocent Dave Gettleman. Now, honestly, I don't like Dave Gettleman, but I don't want him to get run over. And that was the best thing about that Kato Smith touchdown last year. Sorry, Tom, for bringing it back up. It was caught against Landon Collins. That's what made that touchdown like even more like beautiful. Was that it was Landon Collins that gave it up.
Yeah, it was.
That was the best move. I honestly hated Dave Gettleman for that move, but like thinking long term, that was honestly one of the best moves he's done.
That's something we can look back at as Giants fans, Danny. Like Landon Collins, what would he be doing for the team now? Would he still be another head case? Would we be dealing with like another Odell type player situation? Like, no, I'm so happy he's gone. I can give Dave Gettleman a check mark for that. Tom knows how much I am just very against Dave Gettleman. Tom, what do I say about Dave Gettleman? He's not my boy.
I mean, we talk about this. What has he really done? That's bad. Tell me.
Oh boy, where do you?
You can start with the Golden Tate sign, and that one was bad.
Okay, yeah,
it was smart in theory. It was smart in theory, that was bad.
Leonard Williams trade.
Okay, 2.
Look at Chase Claypool right now. He might have been an option there in the 3rd round, but I know the Steelers jumped on him early, but you never know. Draft could have gone a different way. Giants could have fell with Chase Claypool in their lap. Would have been a nice wide receiver 1 right now. He's looking good for the Steelers. Dave Gettleman, I'm just not a fan of. I'm sorry. I am done. This is the point of this.
And the biggest issue I have with him, he said he wanted to try and rebuild this team while winning. I haven't seen much of the rebuilding part, and I haven't seen much of the winning. I haven't seen the rebuild either. So he's lied to us blatantly. Maybe the pieces are there. I'll give him that. There's potential, but it's not fully there, and it's not enough, in my opinion, that warrant him keeping his job after this
So who do you want? Who do you want then? Both of you.
That's the issue where we get here. There's a potential as Kevin Abrams, the guy that I feel they've been grooming ever since at least 2017. I always thought when he kept staying on after that season, I was like, he's the next GM. There's no shot he stays. And then obviously I was talking to that Dan Schneider guy. He said maybe look outside of the organization. I just don't see Dave Gettleman keeping his job after John Mara said he needs to get his batting average up, and we're 0-5. At least he needs to show something for the rest of the season.
And Dave Gettleman's record as the GM is also 9-28. So like Danny said, not a lot of winning and not a lot of rebuilding going on. Everyone, Tom, everyone says about the Saquon pick now, like, was it the right move? Like there was no offensive line, no weapons, like whatever. Stuff happened. It's too late to change it. I just think when he made that Saquon pick, he should have thought, invested more deeply into the offensive line. I know how we all say this. He said he invested in it. And then he also said, oh, we're not going to trade Odell. They signed him. And then like a week later, they traded him. So he's like the Joker, man. You can't trust DG. You cannot trust DG.
Oh, we stink.
So I guess we should get back to talk about Washington and just stop hating on Dave Gettleman and get
we
really
should.
depressed.
They're talking Big Blue. JQ is always due for at least 1 or 2 rants, Danny. Just whatever. It's Dave Gettleman or something that pops up to one of our minds. But yeah, let's get back to this game. I guess we'll break down both teams. The Giants need to protect Daniel Jones. Our left and right tackle, Andrew Thomas and Cam Fleming, will be going up against Chase Young and Montez Sweat. So I feel like, Danny, I know how you're saying Washington does not have a good defense, but I feel like their front seven's pretty solid.
Yeah, you can say their front 7, yeah. Montez Sweat, quality guy. Chase Young, quality guy. Those 2 will cause problems because they're going up against Cam Fleming. No one wants him. And then you got Andrew Thomas as a rookie who's bound to struggle. So those 2 are obviously Chase Young again. But, yeah, those are the 2 biggest weak points. But if they can at least hold them, who's going to stop Darius Slayton? Who's going to stop Evan Ingram because they don't have quality linebackers either. So
That's the thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Dan, to cut you off. That's the thing. Giants have speed at those skilled positions. Like Darius Slayton is a speedy, quick guy. Like get him more effective. I know how he said we don't like all the short routes, but hey, if they're putting so much pressure on Jones, he's got to get rid of the ball earlier. So dunk and dink or whatever it is, dink and duck, whatever you want to say it is, get the ball out, get it to Ingram. Like do more of those end arounds. Like get creative. Those guys need to be in space. That's the biggest thing, Danny, I always said about Saquon. If Saquon can either reach the second level or get some space in the backfield, he's untouchable.
We'll see.
Danny, I think Tom's just so upset this episode because we're not talking about how Chase Young's going to be going up against the Washington football team's offensive line.
No, it's just, I don't know. What do I have to live for on Sundays now? If we win on Sunday, all right, I'm going to start smiling more. I'm going to start, admiring the birds. I'm going to be a little bit happier. If we lose this game, we're done. Done. Sit everybody, put in the practice squad guys, done.
I know Tom's worst fear this game is Chase Young get to hit on Daniel Jones that causes a fumble. That would
He's gonna have 4 sacks. 4
sacks. All right, we're marking that down. 4 sacks. Jones is gonna have a turnover. What's the turnover gonna be though, and what part of the game is it gonna be? Because he's bound to have it. It's all he does these days. He's not consistent in throwing touchdowns. He is consistent in either fumbling or throwing an interception. He just needs to have a perfect game. These are one of those games where you just can't mess up against Washington. Because, once again, besides their front seven, their back end is not a good team. And if Daniel Jones go out there and has a bad game, the talks of needing to replace him only grow. Because right now, we're still the number 1 pick. And the crown jewel of them all, Trevor Lawrence and or Justin Fields, is sitting right there. So he's got to prove something.
He has to prove a lot, guys. And, oh, man, I just think if the Giants lose this game, guys, listen, Dave Gettleman is for sure on the hot seat if it's not hot already. I've been saying this for months. Like, dude, there's got to be a change. And they just changed the whole coaching staff around this year. Like, at every position, like, key position, you name it, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We all know that. Like, if it's still not panning out, you got to take a step to the next level. You got to look at the players also. But you got to be like, hey, who's running this team? So I think Dave Gettleman's for sure on the hot seat, guys. I think the Giants defense needs to, of course, play big again. I feel like that's, Danny and Tom, that's been the brightest spot of the season this year so far. So I'm hoping for the matchup of McLaurin and Bradbury. I would love to see that matchup because Bradbury just held Amari Cooper to 1 catch for 8 yards last week.
Yeah, I completely forgot Cooper was even playing that game until I asked you in like the 4th quarter. Yeah, he's been good. He's been fun to, or I guess he's been fun to not watch because you never see him because they never throw his receiver the ball. But yeah, McLaurin's good. I have him on two of my fantasy teams. He's good. He's a good young kid. Yeah.
That's going to be a good – I'm telling you right now, if that matchup happens, it'll be a good matchup to watch.
We just got to get to whoever the hell is going to start a quarterback. Just get to him early and often. I don't know who's going to do it because we don't have that guy that should have been Chase Young. But anyway, we just got to win the game. It can be the ugliest football game of all time. They can win like 12-9 in just a field goal game. I need to see this. If I see, look, I don't care what happens. I don't care if we have 90 total yards combined. If I see this at the end of the game next to our logo, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, minus McLaurin, every other game, James Bradbury, he's playing against, is usually locked down. It's always this cornerback 2 and 3 that you're always wondering about because CeeDee Lamb went out there and dropped I don't know how much, but it was a lot and helped me win my fantasy game. Whoever is Darnay Holmes, and then what's the other guy's name? Ryan Lewis. He played a little better, but those two, the next 2 wide receivers for Washington, both terrible. But who knows? Maybe they'll go out there and just have a great game.
And you know what, guys? It's going to be
Dwayne Haskins.
Go ahead, Danny.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
My screen, I think, froze.
Yeah, so did mine. Go ahead. You're good.
But Dwayne Haskins, his tummy hurts, so he's not playing. And then they're sticking with Kyle Allen. But Alex Smith, he's my biggest hurt. Because if I see Alex Smith in that game, I can't watch that game the same way. When I saw Alex Smith out there and Aaron Donald literally riding his back, I was like, his leg is literally about to snap in half again. We're going to see it happen again. But Kyle Allen, Ron Rivera believes in him. But, I mean, he's nothing special. And that Washington offense, once again, is nothing special. So hold that run game. Hold Antonio Gibson to be Giants run defense. That's where they're good at. Hold Terry McLaurin, then hope the other two do their job. And then there's a chance this Giants defense has a great game against Washington. They should.
His tummy hurts. I needed a good laugh like that today, and you gave it to me. Thank you. Haskins stinks. I don't know why people think that kid's good. He stinks.
That was a correct move Dave Gelman did, not picking Dwayne Haskins.
Or I don't know what his IG name is, like DK_Simba or something. He stinks. Haskins is not good.
Danny, you made up for it. You brought down Tom's mood a little bit talking about the Yankees, but then you brought it back up talking about Haskins and all that. And
I was already low. You brought me rock bottom, and then now you brought me up. Now I'm good. Now I'm smiling.
There we go. You gotta let's see. No, everyone loves some good old Dwayne Haskins jokes. There's always the best.
I'm watching. Like he stinks. Like when you watch the way he throws the ball, like his feet are like almost like touching. Like he does, like he's not planning his, like he lost. He's lost. Everyone's like, oh, that was terrible. They moved him from starter to third string. He stinks.
Yeah, and Ron Rivera didn't draft him. It was the old regime. And Dwayne Haskins, I even though when we did our mock drafts, I predicted Giants would get him. All he did in Ohio State was literally the drag routes, and his wide receivers took that stuff upfield, and then it was Dwayne Haskins became like the second coming of God in his play. But So this defense should have a great game against Washington. If they don't, I mean, everyone lays eggs, but I don't think that would be bad if they don't have a good game against them.
I think this is a big game, guys, for the Giants defense. They've been doing it all year, keeping us in games where the team should not have been in those certain games. So I think they'll step up big. Like, once again with McLaurin, dude, he has 29 catches for 413 yards already this season. I know it's not one of the top-tier guys, but he's explosive. He can do his thing, and Andrew Thomas, Chase Young, I guess, is the matchup I'm also looking out for because the Washington football team ranks 6th in the NFL with the total amount of sacks. They have 16 this year. Like, they had 8 against Philadelphia. And Philadelphia definitely has a better offensive line than the New York Giants. That's my take. So guys, like, oh, man. And I don't even know who's going to play quarterback for the Washington football team. Will it be Kyle Allen? Will it be Alex Smith? Will Dwayne Haskins have to go in because both of their quarterbacks are struggling? Like, I have no idea who we are preparing for.
If Alex Smith starts, then there's literally no reason why we should lose. That guy is literally like a statue back there with his like leg just doing his thing. This is the game Leonard Williams should go out there and at least show like, hey, I deserve a nice contract in the offseason. Because who's Washington's tackles? They traded away the good one. What was his name? Trent Williams. I don't know who they got left. That offensive line is banged up. They get Sheriff back this week, I'm pretty sure. But other than that, this offensive line is not good. The Giants should have no reason. There should be 3 sacks against Kyle Allen and or Alex Smith, who's ever is the quarterback. There should be some heavy pressure against them.
There should be a couple interceptions too, like last year's game, like that week 3 game. No, week 4 game against at the time with the Redskins, but now they're the Washington football team. But guys, let's just get into the expectations for the game and some score lines. All right. I haven't been very hot at this. I'm 0-5 right now. But guess what? It starts here, Danny and Tom. This week, I get my projection right. Oh, man. Let me think for a second. All right. Here it is. Giants win this game. It ain't pretty, though. We've been saying this a lot, Tom and I. It ain't pretty. This is what's going to happen. Giants are going to win. It's going to be a 21-17 game, okay? So you think it would be lower scoring. I think it's going to be a little higher than we think. I think it's going to be 21-17, maybe even 21-10 Giants. I think James Bradbury and Logan Ryan are the 2 biggest step-ups on defense who need to play at that level. And I think Leonard Williams needs to have a big game, at least a sack or 2. You got to get Marcus Golden in the mix, of course. I think Chase Young's going to be a factor, and I think Montez Sweat is as well. So whoever wants to go next can.
Danny, you go.
All right, I'll go. For the first time all season, the Giants are actually favorites to win a game. They're 3-point favorites to win a game. That shows how bad Washington is. If we're favorites, I'm going with the Giants to win, but I'm going much low in score. I think I'm going 17 to like maybe 7. But here's the MVP of my game. It's no one on the offense. It's no one on the defense. It's Graham Gano. He's been the most consistent factor for this Giants team. In that Chicago game, what was it, the second half? It was like field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal. And against LA and the 49ers, it was the field goal, field goal, field goal. He's been the most consistent player at times on this team. So we're going to need to keep going out there, keep kicking some glorious field goals. And then after this game, if he wins us this game by his leg, I believe he deserves a contract extension that same night. Give me Graham Gano as my – I don't know why I went on a Graham Gano rant right there. But Giants win, 17-7.
Tom, before you go, I want to also say something about Graham Gano. Danny, I just picked him up in fantasy this week because I am expecting at least 2 to 3 field goals from him this weekend. Of course, you have to. And he is the first Giants kicker in history to hit in one game 3 50-plus yard field goals. So shout out to Graham Gano. I talked about it on last episode. So guy's just an automatic field goal every time. Tommy boy, sorry for stealing your spotlight, but go ahead.
Oh, well, this is kind of a make or break game for me. If we lose, I'm just gonna go full on tank and just root for us to lose every week. So for everyone, for all the other fans' sake, you guys want us to win this week. It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be probably the sloppiest football game ever. But no, Joe Judge is gonna get his first win this weekend. I saw a stupid thing on Twitter where they said that his grace period's over. That's dumb. That's stupid. He has the entire year. They can go 0-16, and I'm still perfectly fine with him as coach. It's going to be a sloppy game. They're going to win. They're going to win 20-13. They're going to win by 7. They're a 7-point difference team compared to Washington. We're going to have a lot of turnovers on both sides of the ball. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Jersey, but because I know it's been raining up here all weekend. Daniel, obviously, like Danny said, Daniel is a lock for at least 1 turnover, probably 2. But I think he's going to throw a touchdown this week for the first time since the first game of the year. Yeah. So listen, I kind of just dragged that on for a while. My bad. We're going to win. My score predictions 20-13. Yeah. And Judge gets his first win. And I stay somewhat motivated.
So if the Giants don't win, we got to put Tom. You got to keep an eye on it because God knows what's about to happen.
It's just like it pretty much comes down to if we lose, like I'm not even gonna entertain watching them anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch Red Zone, and which means I'm not gonna be watching them because they're never on Red Zone as it is. But because listen, and again, if we win, I think Dallas is gonna lose Monday night. We're playing Washington, and who doesn't Philly play?
Baltimore.
Yeah. So listen, it's happening every week. We're all playing ridiculous. Like we're playing Washington play. The other teams are playing good teams. So if we win, we're 1-5. Cowboys lose, they'll be 2-4. Washington will be 1 and whatever.
1-5.
1-5, and then Philly will be 1-4-1.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah. So listen, if we win, we're right there. If we lose, I'm gone.
This is the most important part. The Giants' most important part of their schedule started last Sunday against Dallas because pretty much every game except one is against a divisional opponent. So they failed last Sunday, but it's realistic they can honestly get back into division race and maybe even be in first place by the end of it all.
This is the season right here. This is the game to win, must win, have to win. And like I probably said it 15 times already, if they win, season's very much alive and not that far out of reach. And if they lose, I guess there's always next year. Oh.
Listen, this is a divisional game, so it's huge. Like last week too. Danny, also when the Giants lost in that field goal last week, Tom goes to leave and dap me up and stuff. He's like, listen, you'll hear from me tomorrow when we record, but after that, you won't hear from me for a few days until the next time we record. So I said, okay. So Tom really does get in his bag. I'm just saying that.
It's just because we stink. Like, I don't want to watch this. Like, I don't want to watch losing anymore. I barely have the Yankees that give me good things because the Yankees never wind up winning it all. You know what the next most meaningful game is for me? Like New York wise?
What?
We were talking about this. I was talking about this with my boys back home. It's if they start out good, like a mid-January Ranger game. Otherwise, opening day of the 2021 MLB season.
Yeah,
Because God, the Knicks are going to be coming back. So that's just another 3-night a week, just L's all over my world. It's not fun. It's not fun times to be a New York fan.
except Buffalo though. They're living life right now.
The only
New York team.
New York football team.
They're living life right now to their
Yeah,
fullest.
but they just got spanked, and now they got to play the Chiefs too.
So yeah, so they were living life, and now they're gonna be brought back down to reality. Be like, oh wait, we're the Buffalo Bills, our bad guys. That's what's gonna happen this Sunday.
The Chiefs might win by 30.
Yeah, but all right, fellas, this is the final segment of the episode, and Danny, this is something Tom and I started towards the beginning of the season. It's just our crazy hot takes we make and a little more predictions about the game. My crazy hot take for this week is, I'm going to say this again, Giants are going to repeat what they did last year in 2019, week 4. They're going to have 4 interceptions this game. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Doesn't matter how many quarterbacks they use, the Washington football team. The Giants will have 4 interceptions. And James Bradbury will have 2 of them.
Should I go next?
Go ahead, Danny.
All right, my crazy prediction is if the Giants lose, relatively bad, I think Dave Gellman's fired. Because, hear me out. What's their name? Falcons fired him. That's an opening right there. Texans, Bill O'Brien, gone. Opening right there. You want to get ahead in this game to get the best GM you can find. So if they lose, I think, honestly, it's what are you waiting for at that point? Because I think everyone and their mother knows Dave Gellman's gone. Dave Gellman's planning his vacation that he was talking about when he drafted Daniel Jones. So get ahead of it and just start trying to find the guy that can hopefully rebuild this team properly. Because also, I don't want Dave Gellman making trades for this team because I don't think he's going to be here. If he makes trades, that's a major problem because he's probably going to be fired at year's end. So if we lose, I think Dave Gellman's gone.
Trade deadlines in what, like 5 or 6 weeks?
No, I think it's like 3 or 2 weeks.
Shit. Yeah. So like you said it perfectly, because other teams have done that mistakenly. Some teams do it, like they have their GM go like draft everybody and then they fire him the next day. What? Wow. Like why? It's just dumb. But yeah. So if he's gonna wind up being fired sooner rather than later.
What's your crazy hot take, Tom?
Chase Young's gonna have 4 sacks. Oh wait, for us?
Yeah, just like actually, it could be the game, so you could say that.
Well, that's pretty much set in stone for the game. But no, if I had to pick a Giants one, I mean, Danny Boy throws a touchdown. That's become a hot take. He doesn't throw them. No.
You can make a fair point, Tom.
Now, the other hot take would be Daniel Jones doesn't have a turnover.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one. I'll take that.
I think Danny wins the hottest take of the episode with that one. Does Daniel Jones turn over the ball or not? And can he hold on to the ball when he gets hit by Chase Young? But, boys, that pretty much concludes this episode. Danny, I just want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate, you taking time out of your Friday afternoon to do so. And let's hope for a win this weekend, guys, because I think for all of our health, we need it.
Mentally, yeah, if we don't get it. Because Tommy Sports and Yankees, I'm a Mets guy, so all I've known is losing recently. So I would like a win. That would be nice.
Yeah, but you guys got Steve Cohen now.
Yeah, we do got Uncle Steve coming in.
That guy has more money than everybody, so the future is very, very bright for you guys.
Maybe you could buy the Giants. That'd be interesting.
Oh, man. But, all right, fellas. Thank you to all my listeners once again for tuning in to another episode of Talking Big Blue with JQ. We'll see you on another episode on Monday afternoon for the game recap, so stick around for another episode.